Oh, this is just a bit of chicken and rice. I could just make this at home for so much cheaper. Okay, so I've bought all the ingredients, I copied that recipe from the restaurant, and I've saved us so much money. Time to save money by cooking at home. So it's $5 for rice, $10 for chicken, $7 for sauce, and $8 for a few herbs. That's $30 for chicken and rice? Hi, yes there, could I get the chicken and rice? Can't believe that's the same price as cooking at home. Remember a few years back when you'd go,
$1 million 1993 today is now $2,070,000. Inflation in 5 years will probably devalue half of everyone's money listening to this in their 401ks, IRAs, and their soft saving accounts. Like right now, the world is a wreck, and their only solution to the devaluation is they're gonna have to work harder. Over the last 20 years, 2002 to 2022, salaries have increased 27%, but the cost of a home has gone up 148%. In other words, like our cost of living and lifestyles is not keeping up. Average person drives a $60,000 a year car that has a $50,000 a year salary with over $100,000 of student debt, 60% of America living check to check. We have a problem. And being busy is not the solution, and getting another job is not the solution. You have to graduate and develop more of the Gen Z millennial mind that says there's got to be a smarter way. It can't be the immigrant way of just work harder, because there is something to say for hard work. But if it's not smart enough hard work, then it's stupid work. It's dumb work. And there's a lot of financial idiots out there that have just not gotten themselves educated.
I've been forced to drop out of university because I simply can't afford to keep studying while keeping up with the rising cost of living. I've been forced into a position of putting my education on hold because I need to work full-time to support myself. My bills continue to rise. Owning a home just seems like a pipe dream, and it doesn't look like it's gonna get any better. What would you say to me and other young people in my position, and why must I decide between getting an education and putting food on the table?
I made a video a few weeks ago about the cost of living crisis, and it only has recently started to blow up. This is the video in question. And these are the sorts of comments I'm starting to get. You just aren't spending your money wisely. Now, holiday aside, the holiday I've just been on, everyone deserves to go on a holiday. I can't deny that the cost of living has significantly gone up. Anyways, I'm about to go to the shop and I'm going to just show you that I am right and how much things have gone up in price. Okay, I'm home now. I hope you get the picture. I also noticed that basically everything was like half price, 40% off. So normally the prices of a lot of these things are actually double. Definitely recommend not the brands, just use like home brand, Woolies and Coles brand because they're a lot cheaper. I also want to acknowledge for those that it's harder for at the moment, which is usually people with kids, families, dependents that they're looking after. I acknowledge that I am in a privileged situation because I am on a higher salary, but that also comes with a lot of disadvantages as well. Do you have an unstable income? Because it depends if I've got a contract or not. I am spending a lot of money having to rebuy things like food, and I'm away from my family and my friends. The only way that I can afford to save is if I'm away. That's how bad it is. Just think the cost of living at the moment is just disgusting, and it needs to be talked about more and more.
You wouldn't steal baby formula and give it to a food bank. Or would you? These activists are doing just that, shoplifting from supermarket shelves and dumping the proceeds straight into the store's food bank bins.
Just in Tesco today, taking nappies off the shelves to redistribute into food banks.
The reason that we're doing this is because the supermarkets in this country have been raising their prices ahead of the rate of inflation and essentially stealing from normal people in order to line their pockets with profits.
The protest comes as food bank usage has surged alongside spiralling inflation. Many supermarkets now have collection bins for food banks. Last year, Tesco was praised for launching a reverse food bank where shoppers could buy and donate goods. Meanwhile, supermarkets have also been accused of driving inflation. The top three supermarkets, Tesco, Sainsbury's and Asda, have taken advantage of increased food costs and doubled their profits to $3.2 billion in 2021, up 97% on 2019. Trade union Unite calls this greedflation, although supermarkets deny this.
Are you profiteering?
Absolutely not.
Ironically, supermarket workers, often poorly paid themselves, are among those forced to turn to food banks. The campaign group behind the shoplifting actions is This Is Rigged. Founded in December 2022, the group links the cost of living crisis with the climate crisis.
Corporations like Sainsbury's are driving climate change and biodiversity loss.
The group's Robin Hood supermarket action was inspired by British farmers who took milk off supermarket shelves in 2015 to protest the low prices they were getting paid for their produce, and by the French energy workers who send cheap electricity to schools, hospitals, and working class communities. Activists from This Is Rigged are openly promoting their activities on social media. They don't believe that their activities are illegal because they're not actually removing items from the supermarkets, but that they're willing to accept the consequences for their actions. A Sainsbury's spokesperson said, "We're acutely aware of the pressures facing millions of households right now, and our number one priority continues to be doing all we can to keep prices low for our customers."
Can you afford to live in London in your 20s in 2023?
We break it down in 4: transport, housing, food, and lifestyle.
If you want to live by yourself in a central area, you start from £2,000.
And on top, you'll pay
gas and electricity, water, council tax, and internet. We are already at £2,357, which is exactly £242 below average London salary. Let's imagine you would eat a ready meal twice a day on the weekdays with £10 per meal. It would cost you around £400.
But wait, what about the weekend?
On an average dine out in London, you pay at least £50. And if you want to have a couple of drinks, add another £25. Friday and Saturday makes it £150 per weekend and £600 per month. Imagine you take the tube 2 times a day on weekdays. It's around £2.60 one way, so it makes it around £105 a month.
But what about the weekends?
Uber on the nights out, let's say £30 per weekend, makes it another £120 per month. Entertainment, this month we went to Winter Wonderland and we spent around £100 per person. Let's say you entertain yourself once a month. Finally, you go to the gym, a basic £40 pure gym, not a £180 third space, and now add your Netflix, Apple, Amazon, and all the other subscriptions.
And remember, we didn't include any saving, shopping, or travel.
And you end up with a total amount of £3,752.
Happy recession.
Can I get an IPA, please? A £6.50, please, mate. What are you having?
I'll have the same.
2 IPAs, please, mate. That'd be £14. I thought it was £6.50 each. Inflation, it's gone up again. What, in the past 20 seconds? Yeah. That's mental. No, no. Okay, fine. So what, 14 quid, yeah? It's gone up again, hasn't it? Yeah. For fuck's sake. Mate, there's no swearing in this pub. Alright, put 2 quid in the swear jar. Wait. 3 quid.
I don't mind giving most of my paycheck to my living and groceries on a shitty bungalow in Barrie, Ontario. What I do mind is that then, after I give you half my paycheck, you're gonna be like, oh, and you can't wash your car in the driveway. And absolutely no storage in the garage, especially not winter tires. I've come to accept that I will never be able to afford owning a home, but if I'm gonna be stuck renting and giving someone my whole paycheck every month, I'm gonna wash my fucking car in the driveway. I'm not paying to keep my winter tires somewhere the fuck else. The problem with renting is that landlords have the audacity. They're like, no pets, no children, no laughing after 9 p.m. Just take my money and shut up.
These are all the things I've given up since the cost of living crisis. First one is meal deals. Everyone in the UK knows the meal deal, like £3.50, you'd feel so smug about yourself. Cheeky meal deal, go to Sainsbury's. If you want something cheap, you want to save money, but I get a cheeky meal deal. Do you know what I mean? Those days are over. Meal deals are £5. £5 is not a meal deal. The meal deal is over. It's not a thing. Stop calling it a fucking meal deal. It's not a meal deal for £5. Like, it just doesn't have the same effect for £5. That I don't feel good about myself when I'm paying £5 for this shit. Like now, I don't buy a meal deal anymore. I just buy the main. Which is probably like £3.50 what a meal deal used to be. And I'm like, fuck the meal deal. Can't afford the meal deal anymore. Like, it just no longer exists. Second one is therapy. I know this is such a first world problem, but therapy is so expensive. It's like £70. It's like, I don't have the money for that anymore. Like I don't have the excuse to spend £70 a week anymore just to have a cry to a random person on Skype. Do you know what I mean? So now, cost of living crisis, I'm mentally unwell, and that's just what comes with it. I'm mentally unwell, and now I'm probably just going to have to use my colleagues as therapists instead. Third one is getting my hair cut. Haircuts are now like 50 to 70 pounds, either for the fucking juniors in London. Like, all I want is a couple of inches off. Why would I pay 50 to 70 pounds for someone to literally go like this with their scissors? Chop. Like, why would I do that? I feel like such a fucking idiot. Like, that is an absolute rip-off, and I cannot excuse it anymore. It's gotten to the point where now I'm just like, should I just cut my own hair? Or just get someone else to do it? Like, at this point, I don't really give a shit, and I feel like the whole of the UK is probably going round with shitty hair because we can't afford to go to the hairdressers anymore. Like, why is the hairdressers become a fucking luxury? All I want is this. I just want someone to go like this. Just go, get your scissors, just go like this. Why am I paying you £50? Why am I paying you £50 for that?
Do you love me anymore? Like, if you wanted to, you would. Don't beg it. That's it. Gotta put one L to the left and gotta put one L to the right. And everyone scream.
Afford a house, so then you need to rent, and the rental prices are so beyond astronomical because you're paying for someone's mortgage, and someone who perhaps has multiple properties, and you know you'll never get in, and you also don't have any security, so you can be kicked out at any moment. I've got mates who are having their first, second children and are in places where they don't know, how do you do a catchment area? How do you work out where you're going to send them to school if you don't know where you're going to live? And these rental increases are just suffocating, and they're not indexed on how much more we're earning. So there is an enormous amount of resentment, I think. I think the thing that makes the most sense to me is reading a bit about vacancy tax and sort of looking at houses that, the fact we have potentially 1 million houses that are empty, and then we have a whole lot of people who can't find housing, just seems the maths isn't mathing for me.